Go again. Bro, things that we do when we bored. Give me a hand. Give me a hand. She got it.
Okay, first, I want to give all honor, praises, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, for allowing me to make this video. Yahweh being the true name of the Most High, Bahashem meaning in the name of, and Yahweh Shai is the true name of the Most High's only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Right? You Israelites today are you Negroes, right? You Hispanics, you Native Americans, and Latinos, right? You the true chosen people of the Most High, the true children of the Most High. Now, it's going to be a very short video. I seen this video online yesterday, and I was planning on filming, but, I ran into some difficulties. But nonetheless, right, as you see, you got this this woman in the train tracks with her friends, basically, doing foolish acts, right? And you hear of cases where, there's kids subway surfing, go on top of trains and ride on top of the trains. And a lot of cases, they end up severely injured or dead. Like maybe last month, what happened? There was two kids subway surfing. One of them ended critically injured, and the other one was dead. You see this all the time, right? You see this literally all the time. Now, the first verse that came up to my head was the book of Ecclesiastes, the 30th chapter. But first, I want to start from Proverbs 29:15. Right, the rod and reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself bringeth his mother to shame. Right, the rod is basically like something you use to beat your child. Right, it just means whooping your child. Right, and reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself bringeth his mother to shame. Right, you even get the 17th verse. Right, correct your son, and he shall give you rest. Yeah, he shall give delight unto your soul. Right. And even in the book of Ecclesiastes, it says if you spoil a child, right, or it says pamper, or it says I think it says cocker your child, your son, right, he's gonna bring you shame, right? If you spoil him, if you pamper him, right, he's used to getting what he wants, right? But he doesn't know the difference between right and wrong, right? We're gonna get more into that as well, right now. Let's start off in the first verse. He that loveth his son causeth him oft to feel the rod, that he may have joy of him in the end. Right? He that chastiseth his son shall have joy in him, right? And shall rejoice of him among his acquaintance. Right? Now let's see what chastiseth means. Right? It means to discipline, to punish, or severely rebuke someone with the intent of correcting their behavior. Perfect way of putting it. Right? You got chastise, you got to beat your son. Right? Even made a video on this a while back, right? But here I am making another video on it. But this is what you got to do. He that teacheth his son grieveth his enemy. Exactly, make his enemies feel feel sad, right? Or feel an emotion related to that, right? And before his friends he shall rejoice of him, right? And here's what they mean. Grieveth the enemy, right? The next verse. Though his father die, yet he is as though he were not dead. For he have left one behind him that is like himself. Right? So if his enemies was to see, if enemy A, right, was to come against you, right, and they left, and that person, actually, let me break this down perfectly, right? How should I put this? Basically, it's just, the next verse, right? The father is leaving behind his son. And his son is basically like the father, right? He's been raised properly. He's been taught to know the difference between right and wrong, right? He's a fighter, right? He has all the qualities a man should have, right? The father is basically not even dead because his son is right there. That's why his enemies are going to be grieving, right? So that's what it means. Anyways, 5th verse. While he lived, he saw and rejoiced in him. And when he died, he was not sorrowful. Yeah. He left behind him an avenger against his enemies. You see, even more clarification. And one that shall requite kindness to his friends. Right? He that maketh too much of his son shall bind up his wounds, and his bowels will be troubled at every cry. Right? So, literally, if you don't train your son properly, right? Anything that he does, right, is not going to be good unto you, right? And it's going to make you distressed, right? And horse not broken becometh headstrong, and a child left to himself will be willful, right? Let's see. We can also get this in a different translation as well, right? 30:8. Well, you guess we get this definition right. Warning that an unrestrained child grows up to be reckless and headstrong, right? Because they haven't been raised up properly. It's like the same translation now. Hold up. It takes headstrong. It just puts it right there, right? But let's also see what they say, because you got to be wary of reading different translations. But for this case, we already know the meaning of the verse. We just want it in a different translation, right? Well, it's almost basically the same, right? Headstrong, right? What does headstrong mean? Let's see what that means. Stubbornly determined to do as one pleases without regard for consequences or the advice of others. Perfect, right? And you see that a lot today, right? One with the subway surfing, in this video you've seen right there, the lady in the train tracks, right? You got the fucking hoodlums on the street, right? And a lot of times they don't have fathers at home anyways, right? Thanks to Esau, making, putting women and making women go outside and have jobs and work in factories, and basically trying to put them on the same level as men. But today they're placed on a higher pedestal than men, right? Now you have these women choosing, right, believing that they can choose a man when that is not supposed to go like that, right? The man chooses the woman, right? Yeah, the woman is literally under the man, and that's all facts. That's all scripturally proven, right? That's in the book of Corinthians, right? 1 Corinthians, the 11th chapter, right? The woman is under the man. The man is above the woman. Yes, those both created for each other, but you have Yahweh, which is the Most High. You have Yahweh Shai under him, and you have man, and then you have woman. The woman is on the bottom, right? So you got these idiotic women out here saying, they can choose this man, or you got their own friends saying, oh, choose the man that makes this much amount of money. No, it doesn't go like that. In the ancient world, the man could literally, how shall I put this? Humble you by putting his rod into you, and there will be no consequence. The consequence is that, actually, it is the consequence. The consequence is that he cannot divorce you, and you have to pay their father money. He doesn't go to prison, right? He doesn't get his rod chopped off, right? He doesn't get beat and stoned to death, right? He has to pay your father money and literally not divorce you. That's all, right? And ultimately, it's their father that gives their daughter away. Like, if they want to go the other route, right, besides the humbling part, the way to do it is that, the man comes to the daughter, so, I want to be with you. And then the father gives them away, right? The father gives them away. So, again, and literally while the daughter is growing up, she's under her father's rules, right? So this even applies in this chapter, right? Ecclesiastes 30, right? You have to train your daughter up and your son the same way, right? They're under your rules. They're under your house. Now, when they leave, they're under the husband's house, right? They follow and they listen to the husband. It's just how it is. Get that in the book of what's the word? Colossians, right? I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. I was thinking of Colossae, right? That was where the Israelites were at, the Colossians, right? But anyways, keep on reading, right? Conquer your child, and he shall make you afraid. Play with him, and he will bring you to heaviness, right? Let's see what it says in different translation, right? Give your son his way, and he shall make you afraid. Play with him, he shall make you sorrowful, right? So it's not telling you if you can't play around with your son. It's basically saying if you let your son have his way, and you don't say anything about it, what do you think's gonna happen, right? He's gonna bring shame onto your name, onto you and your mother, right? Unto you, the father and his mother, right? Can't spoil with him, right? Can't spoil him, right? Laugh not with him, lest you have sorrow with him, unless you gnash your teeth in the end. Let's see what it says in here, right? Laugh not with him, lest you have sorrow, and at the last your teeth be set on edge. All right, let's see what it also says in different translation, right? This is verse 10. You can also see, you can do this, right? In all English translations, right? Let's see. Laugh on him now, and one day you will have to cry over him, grinding your teeth in regret. Right. So this is the consequence. This is the GNT, by the way. Right. GNT. That's keep reading in that. Right. Next verse. Give him no liberty, right? No freedom in his youth, and wink not at his follies. Right. When he does wrong, you tell him what he did wrong. Right. Give him no liberty in his youth. Right. You got to train him up properly. You got to raise him properly. You can't let him. And this is almost like common knowledge as well, right? This is almost like common knowledge, but you have some parents who don't believe in hitting their kids, and their kids grow up to be fucking wicked individuals, right? Bow down his neck while he is young, and beat him on his sides while he is a child, lest he wax stubborn and be disobedient unto you, and so bring sorrow to your heart, right? Chastise your son and hold him to labor, lest his lewd behavior be an offense unto you. Right? I'm pretty sure that just means, let me read it one more time. Right? Chastise your son, severely rebuke him, right? When he does wrong, whoop him and hold him to labor, right? Lest his lewd behavior be an offense unto you, right? Unless his, improper behavior offends you, right? That's verse 13. Let's see what it says, right? So discipline your son and give him work to do, or else he will be an embarrassment unto you. Well, to you, not unto you, but to you, right? So, there you have it, right? You have this silly ass girl on the fucking train tracks. It's just stupidity, man. It's stupidity. And, apparently the train was coming in 1 minute. So, again, and I want to end off in Jeremiah 4:22, because, it calls us, chose the people the Most High were foolish, right? Well, during this time period, he was acting foolish, and even to this day, you got 2/3 of his people going to be killed because they don't know the Most High. They're acting foolish. They do evil. They're wicked, right? They're wicked. For my people is foolish, right? My people is foolish, right? They have not known me. They are sottish children. They have none understanding. They are wise to do evil, but to do good they have no knowledge. Right. Then it said you also perish for lack of knowledge as well. Right. Let's get that real quick. We can end off. Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, man. Now, obviously, you can't really. I mean, you can tie this to the video as well, but it's just, it's just basically not knowing the Most High. But if you can also say, if you knew the Most High and the Son Yahushua, you know about this truth, right? This gospel. Obviously, you wouldn't be on fucking train tracks, acting like this. Acting like this, right? Obviously, you would not be acting like this. But, with that, I want to give all honor, praises, and glory. Voice crack, hold on. I want to give all honor, praises, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, for allowing me to make this video, right? Lord willing, you edified. Lord willing, see me in the next one. Damn, stay strong. Shalom, shalom.